And all.
Not really.
This is going to seem like a lot, but it's really not.
It's not, but it's dumb.
It's a little time consuming, just a little bit, but it's really not that bad. So if you haven't grabbed a notes paper yet, grab one. Because we're going through our notes. It won't take too long, I don't think. So, our quadratic formula is this piece right here. It is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. It looks like a lot, it's really not. So this first one we're going to do, it's going to take a lot more time because I'm going to try to explain everything, but after we do a couple, it goes by pretty quick. So to start with,
Hey.
don't forget
Grab a warm-up.
place it down.
How you doing? Jesus.
Alright, so to start with, I have this negative b, and then I have this plus minus thing. That is plus and minus, and what it means is we have two problems that we're going to be doing. The first one, or after a while, we won't really split it up till the end, but I think I split it up a little bit earlier this time. You'll see how this works. So, when I talk about a, b, and c, I'm talking about the coefficients, or the numbers in front of my x and x squared, and the number out by itself. So remember, a is in front of x squared, b is in front of x, c is by itself. And I just made up a random problem with a is 2, b is 3, c is 1. 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in this formula. And it's going to give me two solutions. Just like we had in our warm-up, we had two answers. We're still going to get two answers here. So to start with, I'm going to fill this in. And negative b means I'm going to go negative 3. And then the plus minus means I have two parts. It means I have negative 3 plus, and then I'm going to have a negative 3 minus. And then I have square root, and inside that square root I have b squared, which is 3 squared, minus 4 times a is 2, times c is 1. And then the whole thing is divided by 2a, which is 2 times 2. And basically all we're doing is doing just a big PEMDAS problem, a big order of operations type of thing. So we filled in our numbers, and we just need to go through and actually solve for this now. So, I'm going to go through and I'm going to start with the stuff inside my square root here. I can go 3 squared is 9, right? And then minus 4 times 2 times 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Times 1 is still 8. So really inside there, I have a 9 minus 8. And my bottom part, the 2 times 2, is really 4. So all I've done so far is I plugged in numbers, and then I just started solving. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 2 times 8 is, 4 times 2 times 1 is 8. And then underneath there I have a 4. And then I can keep going because I can go 9 minus 8 inside my square root, which is 1. And because I have two problems, the problems really aren't different until the very end. So on my plus part, I have negative 3 plus the square root. So far, it's going to be exactly the same as this negative 3 minus my square root. It's going to be exactly the same. They're not going to change until the end here. Because I'm not going to do the plus or minus part till the very end, basically. So I'm not really sure why I did it like this when I made this. I made this a couple years ago, and I should probably update it. But. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually plug in my square root, which we're going to want to use Desmos for. So just to show you how to plug it in, the square root is down here by ABC, by the pi, and then you just type in the number, which is square root of 1 is 1. That's easy. So I have negative 3 plus 1 divided by 4. And over here in my minus, I'm going to have negative 3 minus 1 divided by 4. And then I just have a couple more steps. I go negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. What's negative 2 over 4?
2. A number.
It's not 2. Eric?
What?
You guys would be on point today.
What's the question?
Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. What's negative 2 over 4?
Oh, negative 2?
Negative 1 over 2.
Negative 0.5.
What?
Yeah, it's
Oh, 2 over 4. Yeah,
1 over 4 but negative.
Obviously.
Over 4.5. The negative 0.5. And then my other one, negative 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Or excuse me, negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. I'm mixing in my answer in there. Negative 4 divided by 4, negative 1. Those are my two answers now.
We know this. Not really.
And when I do these answers, I really should go x equals negative 0.5, and then comma, or like and then negative 1.
We really should.
For a lot of problems today, we are going to get decimals. I'm not going to say every problem, but I'm going to say almost
Can we
every
say
problem.
fraction?
And decimals are fine for our answers. If you get a big decimal, round it to the nearest hundred.
What if we get a big fraction?
What?
What if we get a big fraction?
Make it into a decimal.
These last three decimals.
So this seems like a lot, but after a while, they get a lot easier. Because you just kind of, you can do them and you get better at doing them in your head. So, we're going to do this next one. We're going to solve with the quadratic equation. And this quadratic equation is nice because it doesn't matter what a, b, and c equals. So, if I were to do like AC factoring on this, it would be kind of annoying. I have to go 16 times negative 4, and then find out what times what is that, and adds up to negative 17. And you guys didn't like AC factoring, I don't like it either, nobody likes it. The quadratic equation is pretty nice. So, my quadratic equation, my quadratic equation, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. And you guys will probably have this memorized by the time we're done, just because you do a bunch. Alright, I need to fill in a, b, and c. So, a is 16, and I gotta be careful because b is not just 17, it is negative 17. And c is also not just 4, it is negative 4. Be careful with that. A is 16, B is negative 17, C is 4. All I'm going to do is start filling stuff in. So, I'm going to have negative, and then negative 17 for B. And I'm going to keep this as plus minus until the very end, and then I'm going to split it apart. So, negative, negative 17, plus minus my square root of negative 17 squared. And I'm going to put my negative 17 in parentheses because if I don't, when I plug it into Desmos, it's going to be wrong. And then I'm going to go minus 4 times A is 16 times C is negative 4. And then the whole thing is going to be divided by 2 times A is 16. All we've done is fill in our formula. We put in numbers for A, B, and C. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to start solving. If I have a negative 17, what is that really? Positive 17. So I'm just going to go 17. And then I'm going to go plus, minus, and I'm going to make it easy. I'm feeling lazy today. We're going to plug in our whole square root into Desmos. We could take it a piece at a time. I'm going to be lazy and plug the whole thing in. So I'm going to go this, put the whole square root. So square root, parentheses, negative 17, parentheses squared, minus 4 times A was 16 times C was negative 4. And we're going to get a big decimal, which is what usually happens, which is fine. So I'm going to have 23 point, not 34, but 35, because I'm going to round it.
Yep.
So I plugged that into Desmos and got 23.35. And then the whole thing is divided by 2 times 16 is 32. Okay, now that I've done with my square root, now this is where the plus minus kicks in. I'm going to have 17 plus 23.35 divided by 32. And I'm going to have 17 minus 23.35 divided by 32. So really we got 2 answers here. What are you doing, Austin?
Nothing.
Who's awfully defensive? Go ahead and meander up here.
I'm on Desmos.
Play the game, aren't you?
No, this is Desmos.
Alright, so I'm going to plug each fraction just into Desmos like this. So I'm going to go 17 plus 23.5 divided by 32. So 17 plus 23.5. Ooh, actually, and I think I'm going to need to put it in parentheses to make my divide work. Yeah. Okay, so when you plug this into Desmos, put the top part in parentheses. And then you can go divided by 32. And I get my first answer is 1.27.
Thought it was 0.35.
Yeah. Goki.
23 point, oh, I typed it in wrong.
Oh, what kind
But-
of teacher?
It's super easy. Oh, I fixed it.
What?
I get 1.26 for my first answer.
1 point.
My first answer,
And
1.26. For my second answer, Desmos is really nice because I don't need to type the whole thing in again. I'm just going to delete this plus, put in a minus. And I get negative point, well, this is going to round a little weird. Let's see. The 9 is going to round up to a 1, which rounds that 1 up to a 2. Negative 0.2 for my second answer. Yep, negative 0.2. So both my answers, x equals 1.26 and
that was just that one.
negative 0.2 for both my answers.
I told you.
Goki.
What?
Nothing. Big joke. Ha, got you.
Is it funny?
No, it's not. All right. We're going to do one more, but you guys are going to help me out with this one. Then you're going to do 1 or 2 on your own, and then that'll be it.
Let's see if this is
All right. So we're going to look at this problem here. And you guys are going to help me out. So let me just write my equation first, my quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. The whole thing divided by 2a.
If it is.
Let's start with,
Yeah.
oh, James. What's a, what's b, what's c?
ABC.
3 squared.
And for a, it's just the number.
Oh, 3.
So just 3. And what's b?
Negative 4.
Yeah.
Negative 7.
It's 4.
Okay, let's keep going through. Thomas, what are we going to do next?
Put the numbers in.
All right, so what's it going to look like when I put them in? Don't solve anything, just plug them in.
4
Well, all right.
plus or minus.
That was a negative 4, but I guess. All right, keep going. Square root of.
Divided by.
4 negative 4 squared.
Yep. Now let's put it in parentheses. That negative 4. That way when you plug it into Desmos, it gives us the right answer. Okay, keep going.
Minus 4
Yep.
Just kidding.
times 3 times negative 7.
And then the whole thing is going to be divided by.
2 times 3.
Thomas can math.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we got this all plugged in. Devin, what are we doing next?
You want a PEMDAS?
You want a pen?
Or not?
Sure.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Devin cannot math.
Is that a question or a statement? I don't know.
Ow!
All right, so what are we going to do first then? We're going to PEMDAS it.
Negative 4 squared.
Okay, which is
8. Or no, 16.
16. Square root of 16. All right, keep going.
Minus.
Okay, so we don't have to do
we can do that.
Yeah.
What?
That's it. Minus 12 minus 7.
12 times negative 7.
Oh, times negative 7. You found
Yeah.
the secret, Goki.
You probably just dead most the whole thing then.
Well,
That's okay. I'll let you do it the log way.
Desmos it and write it down because it's really easy.
What?
Just Desmos
negative
it.
84.
Yep. And minus negative 84 is really plus 84, right? And then the whole thing is divided by 6. Since Devin did it the long way, didn't just plug it into Desmos, like I said, you would be lazy and do. We'll just keep going. So, I'm going to keep going. Jaden, what am I doing next?
Oh,
We solved it that way too. You can
problem.
What?
You're gonna set a problem for your plus and minus.
Not yet, because we're not done with our square root yet, because Devin did it the long way.
I don't know.
He likes taking time in his math, I guess.
I do.
We solved it too.
Alright, we have inside square root 16 plus 84,
Yeah.
which is,
Oh, 100.
What's the square root of 100? 10. What times what is 100? 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So I have 4 plus or minus 10 divided by 6. Alright, Kayla, what am I doing next?
What's the formula? Negative
You're sitting
plus minus
plus or minus.
Okay, what's it going to look like?
B.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't memorized, but I can't say it.
Squared minus
That's
4
weird.
times A times C.
4 plus 10 over 6.
There you go.
And then 4 minus 10 over 6.
Yep, we're going to have 4 plus 10 over 6, and we're going to have 4 minus 10 over 6. Alright, Carissa, for this first one,
You only use
what do we
C
get?
once, right?
We're gonna need a decimal. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
It's so shiny.
You get 2.3
And don't forget, if you're gonna plug the whole fraction into Desmos, put the top part in parentheses like this. Otherwise, it might get you a weird answer.
Okay. Does this count if we write out the actual thing and then we just solve it, Desmond?
You have to show me a few steps, yeah.
That is,
Just a few
that is
steps.
step.
So steps,
I'll tell you in a second.
okay.
Did you plug this into Desmos, Carissa? What'd you get?
2.3.
We get 2.3, you're repeating, I think, but I'll take 2.3 or 2.33.
2.3.
And then for this next one, Maya, what do I get for the 4 minus 10?
It's negative, by the way.
Is there a button I can press on the keyboard? Okay. Yeah.
Negative what? Plug it into Desmos.
Did she just guess?
Is there a square root
Do
button on the
parentheses,
keyboard?
4 minus 10 parentheses, and then divide by 6.
1.
Why don't you plug it into Desmos?
The one.
Someone
It's not one.
click.
Oh no, wait. Negative 1.
But
What are you
better
doing?
plug
What
it
the
in
heck
there.
am I saying? Why'd you have me say that?
Negative 1.
What did I just
You
say?
said 1
I said negative 1.
afterwards. Alright, and those are our two answers. I have x equals 2.3 repeating, and negative 1. Good. You doing pretty good? Mostly. Alright, you guys can do one on your own. And when you guys do these, I know you're going to do a lot in Desmos, but I don't want you to just write down answers. So the work you have to do are this piece. If you're going to show your work, you got to do this piece. You have to show me this piece, and then you can show me your answers.
Okay, that's
So
exactly.
you got to have at least
what I
3
did.
pieces on there, where you fill everything in, what you get after you solve the square root, and then what you get at the end. So you got to have at least
Hey, can
3
I
things
hotkey
to
the
get work
square
on
root
it, or to
Yeah, we
get
get a
full credit.
hotkey. Square
Get
root.
work on it.
Good.
Those are the
Good.
3
Yeah.
steps that I
You need to show these 3 steps to get credit.
It's
That's what I did.
Not judging these. Alright, I want you to do this one on your
Oh
own.
god, okay.
On your own.
Okay.
Then we're going to do it on the board.
No.
Jeez, you took that.
After this class, I need the caffeine. Actually, after the freshman, I need the caffeine.
I'm about to fall asleep.
Dude, you took that so fast.
Yeah, figured.
What
Alright,
number?
usually do this last day class problem here.
Did you hear me, Jude? No.
This is the only answer.
Just plug the square root in first. Yeah, just this piece right there. Plug the square root part in.
What? Well, I already solved it. So I'm just gonna, yeah. I did the steps you wanted, I think.
Yeah, you make it negative.
Okay, I did the steps you wanted. Plus or minus, and that's all.
Yeah, that's right. This stuff I said you could do the plus minus part right here, I think in your answers. I'll take it.
Plus or minus, nope. Alright.
Like this, Goldie?
Are we doing this in class too?
I think so. Yep.
I don't wanna do it.
Which
Just
one are we doing,
skip it.
class? This one? Oh, are we going to, or me
Make
and
the
Austin gonna
equation
do
equal zero.
nothing like we always do?
The equation equals 0. First and so.
You just have to.
Actually, we're gonna do the one after that. We're gonna do it as a we're gonna do it together instead of in class.
The one that equals 0?
Yes, we're gonna do zero.
Oh.
Yeah, that one you could turn off, I guess. Alright, put it in, right?
What'd you get?
Okay,
So you have, so let's go there. No,
Are you just plus or
square is
minus?
that, right? So what's negative 3?
You just minus x squared.
you just minus everything. So this side equals 0.
Plus minus.
I have to do that. Take it out.
Then we found out this whole square root is
So you
7.
know.
When's our next game?
Tomorrow?
Today.
That's what I meant today.
Back to back to back.
I knew you guys were gonna say that.
So,
I
how
don't
do you
know.
calculate this and calculate
I
this?
just knew it.
I know Devin's gonna say it, so I said it first.
Then we'll-
Oh, I couldn't have guessed that one, days of Devin.
What do you say? What do you say?
Our game is probably next week.
We may play next week.
We're solving both. Alright, I'm gonna have you guys start doing this on the board.
Heck yeah, dude.
And then,
Hey,
Alyssa, write down this first step for us.
you know what? Tired of your shit.
Just the ABC?
No,
No.
did you hear that?
Oh my god.
Yeah. You were sassy me earlier.
I didn't sassy.
You were a little sassy. Alright, Alyssa's gonna do this first part on the board for us.
Where's it at?
Right there.
Right there.
See, this is why you have the hard part.
Do you want me to write it like
Just
the
what you have.
negative?
Yeah.
Like the negative?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's just positive.
Okay, so should I just
Just write it.
I can't. Oh my god, it's broken.
No problem, you push.
It's all
Use
shaky.
your muscles.
Oh my god, I didn't.
Hey, James.
It's so
You should ask Miss
shaky.
Kennedy if we can sleep next week.
Okay, why is it shaky?
Pretty sure that's you.
That is
That
not.
is not.
me. That's like.
It's like you're shivering.
Oh, this is
Hold
nervous.
Alyssa.
Dude,
Calibrated.
It's not that.
dude,
It's not her.
I'm not shaking.
Put it on there.
Oh.
Oh.
We should ask Miss Kennedy
Is
to
it
sleep.
because it's uneven?
Yeah, try it without the
Oh, what's the
pencil.
game?
I can
Oh,
do
holding the line? Okay.
Oh, look at that. There we go. Was
Oh
that
my
pencil messing you
God.
up? Alright, that's on the pencil's fault.
Okay, that's good
It's good enough. Good enough. Just keep it going. Keep her going.
Keep her going.
How do you do this without looking? Let me do it. I'm pro.
Good. So yeah, 3 plus
Ew.
minus square root, negative 3 squared.
The three's got a horn.
Yeah,
Minus.
shut up.
22.
Got a
Oh
cool hat.
god.
Minus
Looks even
4.
worse.
Just keep going.
I can do it
Nine
like
is
that.
the
I
whole
can see.
bowl.
Times.
Into horny.
Negative?
What? You named this what?
This bowl.
Oh, they said a bowl.
Recording, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's even bowl.
Alright, keep going. Now do the divide by part.
Oh yeah, duh. I forgot the bottom part.
I don't know why you thought you could hide your tree phone. He did. So I'm gonna hide this. Alright.
That's 12 problems.
Alright. LMA, do the next part for us.
School next week.
LMA is doing the next part.
Thought he had another
And then we'll have somebody finish it up real quick.
Okay.
Very square 7.
Wait, is that right?
Looks good to me.
Alright.
Did you get 7?
Sure. I'll let you
Can I
finish.
write? Can
Yeah, just give me your answers now. Give me 2 answers.
Okay.
So we're gonna get x equals negative 2.5 and
Plug it in this one.
I did.
what was that?
1.
1. Yeah. And
Oh,
1.
what is that?
I thought that was like a 7 over something. That's good. You're good. All right. Nice job, LMA. All right. On this next one, we're not going to do it as an in-class problem. We're going to just talk about it really quick. And then we'll do our exit ticket. Actually, no, we have one more thing, and then. All right. So we're going to do our quadratic equation on this. We're going to set it up here real quick, and then we're going to kind of take a look at it. So I'm going to go negative 3 plus minus square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7. Whole thing is divided by 2 times 2. Okay. I'm going to start, and I'm going to plug this square root into Desmos. So negative 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7. Alright, I'm going to plug my whole square root into Desmos here. So the square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7, right? Right. Alright.
Oh.
What happens when I plug this in? What do we get? Undefined. Alright. Well, let's look at that. If I get rid of my square root and I'm going to do just this inside piece, what do I get? Can I square root a negative number?
Oh yeah.
No, we cannot square root negative numbers yet. We can't square them yet. Next lesson though.
Wow.
Next lesson. So, if you plug in your square root and it says undefined, if it says undefined when you plug in your square root, you really have no solution.
Did I?
This is no solution.
Exactly what happened.
Because what happens on this, our solutions are where our graph crosses the x-axis.
No, this is a different problem.
If I were to graph this like we did a couple days ago, so it was 2x squared. Let me see. So my equation was 2x squared minus 3x. Oh, not that many x's. And then plus 7, right? If I'm going to plug this in, does this graph, does it cross the x-axis?
Yeah,
No. It's way up here. My answers are where it crosses this x-axis. It does not cross, so I have no solution. So when you plug it in and it says undefined, your answer is no solution. Then you don't do anything else. As you do these, you can also just go in S for no solution if you want. That's fine. All right, we got one last thing. I don't think we're even going to actually finish this off as much as we're just going to kind of set it up so you can see. When you do your quadratic equation, you always want them to equal 0 first. So this is x squared equals 6x plus 5. I want it to equal 0 first. And it doesn't really matter how you do it. So I could minus x squared from both sides. Or I could minus 6x minus 5 from both sides. So I could get 0 equals negative x squared plus 6x plus 5. Or I could go the other way, it doesn't really matter. And then, after we do that, then we can do our quadratic equation. So make it equal 0 first, then solve. Actually, so, do you guys want to do one more quadratic equation? You feeling good about it? Okay.
Hey,
That's kind of what I thought. But
if you
yeah.
subtracted 6x and 5, would it be the same answer?
What did I just
He
say?
just
I was
said that.
I know.
Literally
It
just
would be
said
the
that.
same answer.
Okay.
You would be fine.
Oh my God.
Alright, do your exit ticket, and then you will answer it in credit, and I will put your homework on the board. Don't forget, to get credit on your homework, you need to show work. If you don't show any work on your homework, you're not getting any credit.
Not the credit.
Yeah, you wanna do it?
Oh god, that's